I can still hear the sharp gasp that rippled through the crowd, the way the crystal glasses froze halfway to people's lips, and the devastating silence that followed my father's cruel words. My hands were trembling as I held my little Sophia close to my chest, her small body shaking with confusion. In that single moment, under those beautiful string lights at our rehearsal dinner, everything I had built, my hopes, my love, my future, felt completely shattered. My name is Elena, and this is my story. A story of love, of deep betrayal by the people who were supposed to protect me, and of a quiet, powerful revenge that no one saw coming. Let me take you back to where it all began. I was a young woman who had already walked through fire. At 22, I fell in love with someone I thought was my forever. That relationship gave me the greatest gift of my life, my daughter Sophia. She came into this world when I was 23, and from the first time I held her, I knew I would move mountains to keep her safe and loved. She has the softest curls, big curious eyes that look just like mine, and a laugh that could brighten the darkest room. She became my entire world. After years of healing and raising her alone, I thought happiness had finally found me again. That's when Marcus entered our lives. He was steady, kind, and successful. He didn't flinch when he learned I was a single mother. Instead, he embraced Sophia completely. I remember the first time he met her. He knelt down, smiled gently, and said, "Hi, Sophia. I've heard you're the best little artist in the city. Can I see your drawings?" From that day forward, he became the father figure she had always dreamed of. 6 months later, under the old oak tree in our favorite park, Marcus got down on one knee. The ring sparkled in the sunlight as he asked me to be his wife. Tears filled my eyes. Sophia jumped up and down clapping, shouting, "Mommy said yes. We have a daddy now." My heart felt full for the first time in years. My parents smiled at the engagement party. They hugged Marcus and posed for pictures. But behind the smiles, something darker was brewing. I noticed the change slowly. My mother would pull me aside and say things like, "Elena, darling, Marcus comes from such a good family. Don't you think this might be too much for him?" The whispers, the questions about Sophia. My father was colder. He stopped using Sophia's name. He called her the child or that girl. During family dinners, he would make comments about how a man like Marcus deserved a fresh start, not someone with baggage from the past. I defended us every single time. I told them Sophia was innocent. I reminded them she was their granddaughter. But their disappointment ran deep. They were ashamed. They saw my beautiful daughter as a stain on our family's reputation. I tried so hard to ignore the warning signs. I told myself parents worry, that they would eventually come around and see how happy we were. But what I didn't know back then was that they had already started planning. They had already decided to destroy my engagement. Even if it meant breaking my daughter's heart in the process. The closer the wedding got, the more their words sharpened. They insisted on hosting the rehearsal dinner themselves. "It will be our gift," my mother said with a tight smile. I felt uneasy, but I wanted to believe in family. I wanted Sophia to have grandparents who loved her. If only I had known what was coming. The weeks before the wedding were supposed to be filled with joy. Instead, they became a slow, painful unraveling of everything I held dear. Marcus and I spent evenings finalizing details, choosing the cake, practicing our first dance, watching Sophia twirl in her flower girl dress. She kept asking, "Will Daddy Marcus really be with us forever?" Every time she said it, my heart swelled with love and hope. But my parents' behavior grew worse. They started inviting Marcus over without me. They filled his ears with doubts and twisted stories about my past. My mother showed him old photos and said things like, "We only want to protect you, Marcus. Elena has been through a lot. That child, she carries so many questions." One evening, my mother sat me down with a thick folder in her hands. Her voice was calm but icy. "We hired a private investigator, Elena, for your own good. We know the truth about Sophia. Stop pretending. You're dragging a good man into your mess. She is a bastard child who will ruin his future." Those words broke something deep inside me. I cried. I begged. I reminded them that Sophia was my daughter in every way that mattered. I had carried her, raised her, sacrificed everything for her. But they wouldn't listen. They called her names that still echo in my nightmares. They said I was selfish for wanting marriage. They claimed they were saving Marcus from a lifetime of embarrassment. I felt completely torn apart. The people who were supposed to love me unconditionally were trying to tear my family apart. I confronted my father. His face was hard as he said, "Sometimes tough love is necessary, Elena. We raised you better than this." The night before the rehearsal dinner, Marcus looked at me with pain in his eyes. "Your parents said there are things you haven't told me. Is Sophia really?" His voice trailed off. I reassured him through tears, but the seed of doubt had been planted. I felt my world crumbling. Then came the rehearsal dinner itself. The garden looked magical. Soft lights, elegant tables, flowers everywhere. Sophia was glowing in her little pink dress. She held my hand tightly, excited beyond words. Guests laughed and congratulated us. For a few brief moments, I allowed myself to feel happy, until my father stood up for his special toast. The microphone made a soft click. His voice rang out clear and cold. "We love our daughter, but we cannot allow this marriage to happen under false pretenses. This child is not what she seems. Elena has hidden the truth for years. Marcus deserves better than to raise another man's bastard child." The world stopped. Sophia looked up at me with wide, confused eyes and whispered, "Mommy, what is a bastard child?" Her innocent voice shattered me completely. I felt exposed, humiliated, and destroyed all at once. Tears streamed down my face as I held her close. Trying to shield her from the whispers and pitying stares, my mother stood beside him, adding, "We did this for you, Elena. It's time to face reality." In that moment, my heart broke into pieces. The betrayal cut deeper than anything I had ever felt. These were the people who raised me. They had chosen reputation over their own granddaughter. I wanted to scream, but all I could do was hold Sophia and try not to collapse. Marcus stood frozen, his face pale. I felt utterly alone, abandoned by my own blood. But what my parents didn't know was that the truth had already been invited that night. As the silence grew heavier and Sophia cried softly into my shoulder, a calm, strong voice cut through the darkness. "That's enough. This has gone too far." Everyone turned. Dr. Richard Harlan, Sophia's biological father, stepped forward from the back of the crowd. I had quietly invited him weeks earlier as a gesture of peace, never imagining this moment. He walked up with quiet dignity and took the microphone. "I am Sophia's father," he said clearly. "I have never denied her. Elena raised our daughter alone because I was not the man she needed at the time. But this little girl is loved, wanted, and legitimate in every way that matters. These DNA results, old messages, and hospital records prove it." He played a short video on the projector screen. The proof was undeniable. Gasps turned into murmurs of shock. My parents' faces went completely white. Their carefully planned destruction backfired in front of everyone. Marcus stepped forward, took my hand and Sophia's, and said with a steady voice, "I love Elena and Sophia. Nothing changes. This wedding is happening." The guests who had pitied us now looked at my parents with judgment. Their perfect image was exposed and destroyed. In the weeks that followed, consequences rained down. Family friends distanced themselves. Their social reputations suffered. but the real victory was mine. I sat my parents down one last time. With the strength I didn't know I had, I told them, "You will not see Sophia again until you apologize sincerely and prove you have changed. I will no longer let you hurt my daughter." They tried to argue, but the power had shifted. I had chosen peace and protection over toxic blood ties. 2 days later, Marcus and I got married under those same string lights. Sophia walked between us, smiling brightly. When she called Marcus dad during the reception, tears of joy filled my eyes. The pain had transformed into beautiful strength. Today, years later, I look back with a calm heart. My parents tried to break us with shame and lies, but they only made us stronger. Sophia is thriving. My marriage is built on truth and real love. And I learned that family is not always blood. It is the people who choose to lift you up instead of tearing you down. If you are watching this and carrying wounds from family betrayal, please hear me. You are not broken. Your worth is not defined by their cruelty. Protect your children. Protect your peace. Let the truth speak when they try to silence you. The light always returns. Thank you for listening to my story. Stay strong, choose love that heals, and never be afraid to rise after you've been knocked down.